Last month, I had an article published for the first time. I am quite excited. The article, Seven Ways Leaders Can Build Fair, Data Informed Cultures, is a set of practices that leaders can do to promote fairness and efficiency in an analytics based environment. It was published by Harvard Business Review, and you can find it online for your reading enjoyment, should you so wish. But I was talking with a friend and previous YouTube video guest, Jeff Higgins, recently, and when he jokingly said, "Too bad no one reads articles anymore," I couldn't help but think, while I'm sure there are still people who do, that he might be partially right. So I figured, why not make the article into a video for those who prefer to listen or watch to their info? So for those of you, here are 7 ways that you can build a fair, data-informed culture. People data and analytics is now one of the hottest, most in-demand skills for HR professionals and ranks as one of the most important human capital trends for organizations today. Companies are looking at data to inform decisions and answer questions such as who will leave and when? How do our capabilities compare to competitors? What skills and talent do we need? People data provide insights and can help decision makers by answering these questions and more. But this surge in data use has come with some questions about the ability of database processes to introduce or perpetuate bias and its broader impact on fairness in the workplace. As humans, we have nearly 200 types of cognitive biases that affect our decision making. We see these when we notice others who tend to only seek out information that confirms what they already believe, confirmation bias, or when we hear someone say they knew it all along after an event has occurred, that's hindsight bias. Not all biases are bad. Many help us make decisions more quickly and can save time and brain power in a world with short deadlines and too much information. The problem is that at times, our data can mirror harmful human biases and encode the unconscious errors of the people who design, collect, and use the data. The issue of fairness arises when biased data affects judgment and introduces error into our people data processes and technology. But the story is not all doom and gloom. Data need not be a sponge soaking up human biases. Data may also lead to fairer decision making by reducing the subjective and possibly biased interpretations of human decisions. Analytics-based technology might even be able to identify and remove implicit human biases. Can data and technology eliminate all human biases? No, not entirely, but it is able to minimize biases and increase fairness. Here are 7 ways leaders can help their company ensure a culture of fair, data-informed HR decisions. Number 1, develop organization-wide definitions of fairness. You'll probably never build a single metric or universal definition of fairness that applies in all cases. In fact, there are more than 45 definitions for fairness listed in Google's developer glossary. So start by identifying your organization's highest priority aspects of fairness, then create several compatible definitions based on metrics and standards that work in different use cases and circumstances. For example, if inclusion is a top priority, you can start by defining what inclusion means and looks like in your organization. Then define ways you'll measure inclusion or its absence so you can track and evaluate progress. This may be a good time to ask your analytics colleagues to help you with measurement techniques and interpretation of the results. Number 2, promote fairness with a strong business case. Explain why fairness is essential to your bottom line. Present your ideas in business terms and gain the support of trusted stakeholders known for making evidence-based business decisions. For example, draw a clear line between fairness and diversity with business results. Then share how a recent McKinsey study spanning 15 countries and over 1,000 companies found that those in the top quartile of gender, ethnic, and cultural diversity outperformed those at the bottom by 25 to 36%. I mean, there's nothing like robust metrics to support your case. Number 3, embrace technology while accepting its limits. Technology can be a powerful tool for identifying and correcting bias in people processes. It may never be able to ensure that all data-informed decisions are fair and that all bias is addressed, but don't let the lack of perfection hold you back from leveraging it. New technology emerges daily that supports fairness in data-informed HR decision-making. So keep up to date on new product developments and build a constantly evolving portfolio of software, tools, and procedures focused on increasing fairness. Number 4, conduct fairness audits. Fairness audits are objective, systematic methods that look at an organization's people data policies, practices, procedures, and the audit goals can vary. One goal is to look for potential issues that make an organization liable to legal action. Another is to identify ways to improve fairness-related practices. And a fairness audit could be done through software tools, maybe with the help of an external expert, or even through an internal review. What's most important is that they are completed on a regular basis by someone who understands your organization's definitions of fairness and that any issues or opportunities are acted upon. Number 5, find the underlying cause. When you do discover a problem, look for the underlying assumptions or processes that need to be changed. Biases are often unconscious, and unfairness is generally the symptom of more than just a single decision. This makes the underlying cause of a problem difficult to detect, so consider using an approach that's loved by toddlers around the world. Ask the question, why, at least 5 times. Here's an example of how that might look for you. Let's just say that your problem is diversity in our organization is 45%, but only 5% of executives match our definition of diverse. That's a problem. So we ask first, why is that? Why do only 5% of executives match the definition of diverse? And the answer might be because we hire most executives from outside the company, and those executives aren't diverse. Okay. Why do we hire most executives from outside the company? Well, because our internal talent doesn't have enough leadership experience in our industry. Okay. Why doesn't our leadership have enough expertise in our industry? Well, because they haven't had enough development opportunities aligned to our exact business objectives. Okay, why haven't they had enough development aligned to the business objectives? Well, we just don't have the resources to provide industry-specific leadership development opportunities for everyone in the company. Okay. Why don't we have enough resources for that? Well, because we didn't prioritize it when setting goals and budgets, and because we didn't prioritize it. Bingo. That's probably the issue. Maybe the problem isn't 5% executive diversity. Maybe that is just a symptom. The problem could be the lack of resources given. So there are usually multiple underlying causes, and simply identifying potential causes won't solve the problem. Action is still needed. However, until you identify and address the underlying issues, you won't see change. So number 6, make diverse cross-group collaboration a must. Many of these suggestions will only work with the active participation of others. So solicit input from across the organization by bringing together experts from multiple departments, such as HR, data, technology, and legal, to identify and promote opportunities for new or improved people-related data systems. Collaborate with vendors or in-house data professionals to develop and improve operational practices and ethical standards that make the use of people-related data systems fairer. A diverse group will be better able to identify and solve issues of unfair bias in systems. So be sure to include individuals with a diversity of thought and experiences at each stage of the process to lower the likelihood of unintended biases creeping in unnoticed. And number 7, keep the H in HR. In many cases, there isn't and shouldn't be a substitution for human judgment in HR decision making. Fairness in recruiting, employee evaluation, and other HR decision making requires human participation. Consider the interview process. It is completely possible these days to remove the human and allow data from video interviews to make decisions. When asked about such an approach, though, 67% of respondents in a Pew Research study felt that this would be unacceptable. And the reason they gave for feeling that way was they felt that it would be flawed or biased and that humans should evaluate humans. And among those who did believe it was an acceptable approach, well, they still believe this approach would have flaws, biases, and fairness implications. There was also an acknowledgement that it shouldn't be the only data point used in the process. So rather than let the data take over, explore how humans and data best work together. Some promising HR decision-making methods combine machines and humans to reduce bias. And this class of techniques includes human in the loop decision-making, in which data is used to provide options or recommendations that humans then verify or choose from. Such techniques can help to remind us that HR data represents real people with real lives and not just numbers to be analyzed without further thought. Now, fairness is definitely becoming an important part of business success. It's achieved by doing right by people and doing right in the world. Our new analytics based environment provides opportunities to define fairness for the organization, to build a business case for it, and collaborate with groups within and outside the organization to create and maintain it. The challenge is to be aware of the opportunities and seize them when they appear. I hope you'll be able to use one or all of these 7 ways to build a culture that promotes fairness and efficiency in a data informed world. Thank you.